A mixed reception for Benito Carbone as he made his Hillsborough return. Given Danny Wilson's mood, he was lucky to be even in the squad, so he settled for a place on the bench. No tantrums, no walking out on the club in a huff before kick-off, as he did at Southampton.
If he can show his commitment to us, which I expect at this moment in time, and I expect 100% and 150% commitment from each and every player at this moment in time, we'll turn it round. If he doesn't want to be with us, then fine, go, as far as I'm concerned. But the only thing I will say at this moment in time is I want players around us and around each other there that they can trust and respect, and that's all I ask for.
He should be on at the beginning. You know, it's no use betting him on when they've won down or something like that. It's his most outstanding player he's got.
He's only got till January, but I think they should use him as much as they could.
I'm behind Wilson. Yeah. I think Carbone should have signed a contract to go.
On the pitch, it's been a better start for Everton. Off it, their problems continue between owners. Johnson out, Kenwright in, who knows? The fans want the whole messy business sorted out.
I think that the fans are desperate for that to be done because a club the size of Everton's and with the fan base that they've got doesn't deserve to be, you know, a bit of a laughing stock when it comes to the finances. So I think it is a bit demoralising, but I think I'm sure that the fans keep turning out anyway.
I've tried to keep myself for team matters and team matters only, and I'll leave that to everybody else at the club to sort it out. But I mean, I think it's like any other business. If there's an element of doubt about what's happening at the top, it has an effect. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But we're trying, and the players are trying hard to make sure that it doesn't affect us too badly on the pitch.
Rock bottom of the Premiership, looking for their first win of the season. Sheffield Wednesday were under even more pressure as Nicky Barmby fired Everton in front. Everton's key strikers looked like they made a right mess of this chance, but Barmby was in the right place at the right time to save their blushes. The band played on. Wednesday fans did their best to get behind their team, as Danny Wilson had requested in his programme notes. But things went from bad to worse for the under-pressure manager. Everton were 2 up inside the first 20 minutes. This time it was Scott Gemmell who came in to meet Mitch Ward's cross. No luck about this one. Gemmell, completely unmarked, couldn't miss. He probably won't get many easier chances all season. There was no way back for Wednesday from there, no matter how hard they tried. And they did try. Andy Booth was a real handful, but he just couldn't find the target. His efforts summed up Sheffield Wednesday's poor afternoon. Danny Wilson's side lacked that killer punch that Everton had showed. Benito Carbone was introduced just after the hour mark. But not even the talented Italian, the only Sheffield Wednesday player to score this season, could make an impact. David Unsworth, for one, was making sure he found it tough going. The bookies are taking no more bets on Danny Wilson getting the sack.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm here. You know, and I certainly won't be volunteered to walk away from the fight, if that's what you're asking me, because I think it's a big challenge in front of us, and I think it's something that we all have to stick together and get through. I'm totally committed to it, you know, and I know that you know, the vast majority of players are committed to it as well, and it's important that as a unit we stay tight and we get through this episode that we're having at the moment in time.
2 good goals from us, and obviously, as I say, it was a situation for ourselves where the longer we go without getting a win away from home, the more pressure there was going to be on us, so we're pleased to get off the mark today.
It's a tremendous challenge. I think it's a challenge that I'm relishing to a certain degree anyway. You know, I want to be winning games, of course I do. But there's one thing about it, I'm totally committed to pulling us and turning us round, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm absolutely confident that, given all the circumstances we've got now, the way of injuries, etc., and 1 or 2 incidents, unsavoury incidents that happened, once you can lay them to rest, then I think you see a totally different team.
Acres of space at Hillsborough, and at this rate, it could get even worse.
Sunderland illuminated the Stadium of Light with their first win over Leicester in 12 meetings. Niall Quinn had the best of the early chances. His header straight at Tim Flowers from Nicky Summerby's floated free kick. The Wearsiders did take the lead, though, in the 29th minute. Gavin McCann's corner and Paul Butler left unmarked to head home his first Premiership goal. Sunderland are beginning to sow the seeds of success, but Flowers left rooted to the spot. 5 minutes of madness midway through the second half made Leicester's task all the more difficult. Kevin Phillips' pace proved too much for Jerry Taggart, who was rightly yellow-carded for hauling back the Sunderland number 10. The first booking was blatant, and the second was almost inevitable. Referees are tightening up on tackles from behind, so Andy D'Urso had no hesitation in sending Taggart for an early bath. That paved the way for Sunderland to gain some sort of revenge for their semi-final defeat to the Foxes in last season's Worthington Cup. McCann and Phillips combined to twist and torment the Leicester defence before McCann's composed finish with 8 minutes to go. A great display by the youngster in front of a crowd of 30,000, and like Butler earlier on, his first in the top flight. The 10 men from Filbert Street kept going, but if they needed confirmation it wasn't their day, they got it when Emil Heskey wriggled through, only to see Michael Gray clear off the line. A win to show the Premiership they can live with the big guns. Sunderland moving to 8th.
Leicester are a very, very strong side, and he's done a great job, Martin O'Neill. I think it's the first time since I've been Sunderland manager we've managed to beat him, and we had to work really hard for it, but I thought we deserved it in the end. You know, pleased for the players, put a lot of effort into it, and it was a great atmosphere. It's been a good day.
West Ham's excellent start to the season continued against Watford, and they could easily have banged in 3 or 4 goals in an open, exciting game. Watford did manage to trouble Shaka Hislop a couple of times in the first half, Wembley hero Alan Smart forcing a good save in his first start of the campaign. The Hammers were desperately unlucky not to net following Paolo Di Canio's corner in the 36th minute. Paolo one-shot, Stuart Pearce, Pearce again, and one-shot again, but still the ball stayed out. No wonder Harry Redknapp looked hot under the collar. The half ended with a typical strong challenge involving Micah Hyde and Stuart Pearce. The England defender came out of it with a broken leg. He waved away the stretcher and hobbled off, but he's not expected to return before Christmas. Soon after the restart came the game's only goal. Paul Robinson handled Trevor Sinclair's cross, and while they waited in the penalty area for Paolo Di Canio to cross the ball, the talented Italian went straight for goal and scored his 3rd of the campaign so far. If Alec Chamberlain was disappointed at being beaten at his near post, he made up for it with a brilliant save from a Paolo one-shot header. And again, man of the match Di Canio was the provider, as he was when he picked out the unmarked Mark Keller. Now that is an unusual corner routine, and again Chamberlain was kept busy. Somehow it ended just 1-0, but Harry Redknapp was more concerned about Stuart Pearce.
I knew it broke as soon as he went in. As soon as I heard the tackle, I heard the noise, and I was straight on my feet. I knew that I felt pretty sure that he got a break. And at half time, he wanted to try to come out for the second half. I was sure there was a crack in his leg. You know, I thought I'm sure I heard it go, but he got up and wanted to try to put some weight on it. But he collapsed in with it. He's no way to put any weight on it with the pain, and we have had him X-rayed straight away, and there is a crack in his leg.
Don's boss Egil Olsen has put his team's poor defensive record down to problems adjusting to a new zonal marking system. Perhaps they were marking zones rather than Argentinian defender Horacio Carbonari. 1-0 to Derby after 14 minutes. The visitors thought they should have had a penalty when Neil Sullivan collided with the Rams' other Argentinian, striker Esteban Fuertes. But referee Alan Wiley let play continue. Just after the hour mark, Wimbledon awoke. They'd lost their previous 2 games and not scored in either, so John Hartson's 2nd goal of the season, and only his 4th in total for Wimbledon, was especially welcome. Despite Jim Smith's efforts to get his defence organised, seconds later the Dons took the lead with a very similar goal. This time Jason Newell powered in the header. Wimbledon couldn't hang on for their first win since the opening day. Francesco Baiano's cross was met by Seth Johnson for the game's 4th and final headed goal, and Johnson's first since signing from Crewe. I'm not convinced about this zonal marking. Fuertes had a chance to spoil the symmetry late on, but Jim Smith's team couldn't make it 3 wins in a row, and the Dons have still never lost at home to Derby. Wimbledon 2, Derby County 2.
So Sunderland with a 2-goal surprise for Leicester. That should cheer up Peter Reid. And poor Wimbledon, giving up the late goal. They let another home victory slip right through their hands. Now we shift our focus to Valley Parade, where struggling New Boys Bradford City entertain George Graham's Spurs. Here they come, Valley Parade. Paul Jewell hoping to come away with 3 points for his side. And we kick it off between Bradford City and Tottenham. George Graham hoping to get 3 points as well, talking to David Pleat, the Spurs director of football there. David Ginola crosses. Stefan Freund shoots, but Gary Walsh comes out. Oyvind Leonardson then with the rebound over the top. They get nothing. Now to the second half. 76th minute. Ginola the corner. Chris Perry is there. And that website just took a hit. Perry heads it in. First goal for his new club. 1-0 Tottenham. Now to injury time. Last chance for Bradford City. Peter Begree corners it. Stuart McCall is there to head it in. The veteran Bradford captain saves the day at Valley Parade. That made it 1-1. McCall got the goal, and we ended up in a draw. The final 1-1 between Bradford City and Tottenham. Now it's time to catch up on what